Very good.
Good evening, Shlomo. Good evening, everybody that is joining us now for this important live. And we're going to wait a few seconds for you to join us and just to say hello and that we know that you can hear us and you can see us. So if you are here with us, just share and do some likes and hearts so we know that you are here and you can see us. And then we can start. Okay?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here open hearted and we welcome you all to this amazing, amazing, amazing live. I want to welcome first Raqefet Becca Moses, that she is with us. Soon I'll introduce her. And for me, it's really exciting to have Raqefet with us because she is a unique woman, an amazing woman that I see her already as she will create this empowering space for feminine leadership, which is not only for women, but I think she will be able to connect heaven and earth and show us what feminine leadership means. So soon we'll introduce her. We just wait for you to go live. And please
Yes.
share and like. And if I
I
can
see
see
people
you,
joining us. Yes, they are writing to us, and you can even write from where you're from because I see people here writing us from Baku and from Belgium and from Israel. So hello, everybody that's joining us. Please write where you're from. It's this live is going to be entirely in English, and also the interview with Bruce is going to be in English as well, so that everyone that join us can understand the important things that we're going to say. And here's Sally from Australia.
maybe.
Amazing.
Raketet, if I don't see the comments,
See on the right left, the right
yes, I
corner,
see
you have comments
comments
there.
is written, but I don't see anything. It's just this host. I don't know.
And we
Oh, now
have
I
people
see it.
from
Yes,
South
thank you, thank you.
Africa. Yeah, you see them? Okay,
Yes, I
great.
see them. I see Revital. Hello, Revital. Sally Kane. Hello, Sally Kane. Arzu. I'm very happy to have you here all. Revital Ben Saadun.
Nice
Jeanette
to
Glad.
meet you.
Wow,
And
wow, wow. Itzik. Anna Brustein. Welcome, Anna Brustein. Tini Toen. She's an amazing woman, Tini Toen. She's going to come to our program. Thank you so much.
so, yes, I think we can start now. I see that a lot of people are joining us, so feel free to share this live now because we are going to start and talk about an important subject, resonant feminine leadership. So,
Okay.
Shlomo, maybe you will introduce yourself to the people that's with
First of all,
us.
I want to say to Brigitte, she sends love and blessing from Germany. So I send all this amazing energy. Jordan, how are you, Jordan from the Netherlands? And Shula, wow, wow. Thank you all. Thank you all. I'm very happy to have you here with us. Okay, let's begin. Dorit Raz. Hello, Dorit Raz. Welcome. Now I see the comments on the screen. It's really amazing.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Isabel, I was talking to Isabel now. Tummy awakening. Okay, it's
Okay,
time
let's
to
start.
begin. We are 4 minutes on air already.
Yeah.
So I think we'll begin by introducing Rakefet Becca Moses because I'm really excited about it. I will introduce myself later and I hope many people already know me. So Rakefet Becca Moses, she's a spiritual guide and a teacher for practical channeling. I met Rakefet when I had a kind of a session with her when she was talking about my personal life and the way she saw it, in the way she brought these insights and what we call foresights for the future was really exciting. She has this kind of virtue that I think I cannot really explain in grounded words, but this way that she sees a lot, much more even than she says. And when she really connects to herself, she brings a lot of news and a lot of understanding of what is life at all and how we should look at life and how we can empower ourselves in life. So welcome, Raqefet. I will begin by I'm supposed to interview you, but what I feel now that maybe you will begin to say some words, or how do you see feminine leadership first, and then we'll go on. So Raqefet, the floor is yours.
Okay, so first of all, I think that we chose this important subject at a most crucial time because at the moment so many things happens in our world that people are looking for leaders, strong leaders that can help us understand how to deal with the whole situation that we are actually experiencing now. And I feel that the feminine leadership, the feminine the way to look at the world is what is going to be different from the way that we looked at the world until now. So for me, to be a feminine leader is to understand that I need to contain and accept all the part in society, all the part in me. And if I'm looking at it as a mother, I'm a mother of three kids, I'm thinking of the future of my family when I'm looking at all my kids. I want each and every one of them to be unique, and I want each and every one of them to be to show the abilities that they have. I want them to be who they are. I don't want them to be another person. I don't want them to be the same. I don't want to change them. I want them to find out who they are, and I want the entire family to accept one another. So I think that feminine leadership is, first of all, being that container that actually accepts all the parts that we have in our society and all the people that are there, no matter who they are, and no matter if they have different thinking than what I have, and even if they will think something one day and they will change their mind the next day, it still be okay, because that's the way people grow. So I think that's the first thing. That's feminine leadership for me.
It reminds me a story of Rabbi Nachman. That the story was about a prince that got mad. He was mad and he thought he is a turkey, like turkey, and he was sitting naked under the table, eating the leftovers. So all the healers came to heal him, and nobody could do anything. He stayed in his mind that he's a turkey and he sits naked under the table. Then one wise guy came to him and said, I will heal you. And what this wise guy did, he take off his clothes, naked, and he went with the prince under the table. And then the prince saw him and he said, who are you? What are you doing here? So the wise guy asked the prince, what are you doing here? So the prince said, I am a turkey. So the wise guy said, I'm a turkey too. And they were sitting under the table for a while, eating the leftovers. After a while, the wise man said to the prince, listen, maybe we can be turkeys with underwear. We still will be turkeys, but with underwear. And then with a shirt, and then with the trousers. And then he said to him, maybe we can sit together around the table like everybody else. But you and me, we will know that we are still turkeys. And Rabbi Nachman says this was the way he healed him. And this is actually, for me, what is the basic of resonant leadership is that when you see somebody, whatever it is, whatever scratch he has in his mind, this is the way we call it, he will go, you can go there with him sitting under the table, and then you can really create something. Then you create empathy, because otherwise you cannot really create empathy. And I think this is one of the crucial ways of leadership. If every leader upon this planet, especially the macho leaders, will really understand that they have to go first naked under the table with everybody else, that it's a service, that we are serving other people, the whole world can change. So this is just to support you on this, Kefet. And yes, I
I
totally.
have to tell you that this story is taking me, I think, to and another level of feminine leadership is that you need to give people a tool to find out who they are, not telling them who they are, like that person came to him and to his safe place and told him, let's find out who you are. I'm just going to, he was like a mirror to him. He showed him who he is, but he was not telling him to be another person. He was not telling him who he is. He was just, he's coming to his safe place and he's telling him, let's see who you are. Show me who you are. So I think one of the things is when we think about being a leader is giving people tools to find out who they are and not telling them who they are. Wait, Shlomo, I can't hear you. Wait.
Okay.
Yes.
I said, Rakefet, please tell me more about yourself. Tell me more about your work you do on this planet, about the way you was creating this connection to your high purpose, and you make it visible and you make it impactful. So really, I think you are kind of a role model for everybody who want to see how he connects to his high purpose and how he's really making his impact on this planet.
Okay, so I'll tell you how it started for me. When I was 7 years old, it's actually 30 years. It's going to be in 2 weeks, 30 years from now. And my cousin died in the army, and I just started seeing him. About 2 weeks after he passed away, he came to me, and he just walked into the room, and I saw him. And at the beginning, I thought that he's not dead, and I went to my parents and told them that he's alive. And then in just a few minutes, I understood that they cannot see him, and I can. And he started telling me things and explaining me about the world that is beyond. And he started showing me proofs, because I had to know that I'm not crazy, because everyone else thought I am. So, and I was only 7 years old, so I had to tell him, prove me that you are real, prove me that you are not a creation of my imagination. And he did. He kept proving me. He kept telling me things that's going to happen in the future. He told me about things that he couldn't have known. And then I knew that I can trust him. And he was actually with me until I was 19 years old, so it's been 12 years. And then one day he had to leave me. And when he left, I found out that I'm still seeing things that I didn't knew, that all these years I've seen them, but I thought it's only things that he's showing me. So I didn't know that I see other things that is not something that he's showing me, like angels. I wasn't aware that I'm seeing angels. When I saw something, I asked him and he told me what it is. And then when he wasn't there anymore, I kept seeing those things. I saw those pictures. I saw all kinds of signs. The numbers are kind of jumped into my face. I saw all the time the numbers, like 1111 and 2020 and things like that. All the time I've seen numbers. I heard like whispers, and I used to see lights and things like that. And I didn't know what they are. And then when I started asking, what is these things that I see? I started getting answers. And I went to a friend of my mother's that she's a channeler, and she told me, you have to keep asking questions. And I kept asking questions, and all the ability, the channeling ability was open up to me. Until then, I didn't even know what is channeling. I didn't know that there is such a thing. I especially didn't know that I'm doing it. And then when I started talking and started asking questions, everything became clear. And today, the last 6 years, I've been getting messages. And one day I actually got a message, you need to go every Sunday and just record yourself getting the weekly message and send it to the world. It was really frightening, because it wasn't something that I do for everyone else, because I used to do it for myself since I was a little girl, but I never do it for other people. And then 6 years ago, they told me, you have to do it. This is the time. And then I started doing it. And all of a sudden, the messages, they weren't just for me. They're global messages. They're talking about our preparing us to things, like they were preparing us to the corona. We didn't understand that at the time, but they kept talking about 2020 and that we need to understand the path that we're going. And they were actually preparing us to this time now that we are in. And all the messages that they are giving us are to help us understand how to choose. Because the main thing that they keep saying is, you chose to come here as a spiritual human, as a spiritual energy into a physical body, in order to choose the way you live your life. And when we choose, we need to remember that we need to choose between love and fear. And I kind of, during the messages that I got, I said to myself, you have to live. what you're talking about, you can't just say it, you have to do it by yourself. And then I started doing it on myself every Sunday, getting the message. Okay, let's practice the message, let's see how it works. And that's got me to where I am now, just transferring those messages. And by the way, they also have translation to English, so if people want to watch them, feel free to watch them on my page. And it's really helping us understand what we're going through at the moment in our world, and preparing us to the next stage, next phase that we don't even know what is the next step that we're going to do, but helping us see that path, see the way that we want to go through. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just bringing those messages to the world. That's me. And it is about showing how to find the answers inside of us.
Yes, I would love to say something about channeling and about this. You know, there is also some people who really don't believe in channeling and they have this kind of cynical understanding, and that's okay. First of all, I learned in India that somebody says our way is not the right way; it's just another way. So just to understand that it's okay if you don't believe in it. But I will tell you, like 30 years ago, I was learning with Rafi Rosen. He was amazing person. He taught about bioergonomy, and he did it before even channeling was a word on this planet, more than 30 years. And people ask me, I was a judge then. They ask me, "Are you crazy? You know, he's talking about channeling." And I said one thing, and I think this is really important. I said, I know there is a word that says the end of the tinery of the senses. That when people think that there are only five senses and nothing else, this is for sure not true already. Now the science shows really that there is a lot beyond, and we'll hear also today Dr. Bruce Lipton. We will see he shows it scientifically. And then I said, listen, because I know there is something beyond the senses, doesn't matter how you call it. You can call it a cosmic energy, you can call it nature, you can call it God, whatever you call it. And it's okay that everybody is calling it his name. So I say to everybody who listen to us, just understand that it's okay, you can call it whatever you want, but just be able to look beyond, because we know already, science shows us that we can look beyond. And when I introduce Bruce Lipton, I will also say something, maybe I'll say it now. Bruce Lipton was a biologist. And as a biologist, he was looking at the petri dishes and he said, something doesn't work here because you told me all my life that the genes are controlling us. And here I see that awareness is controlling the genes. He was working with stem cells. So this is what the new science shows already. And his book is now, I think, the bestseller in the world already. So this is something that we have to understand. Our mind says to us sometimes, maybe she's wrong, maybe she's dreaming, maybe it's not true. Bullshit. It is something that really we have to understand. It goes beyond the senses. And we have to be courageous enough to go there, even though we do not, some of us don't have a name to give it. We don't know how it looks like. But when you can call it a muse, you can call it whatever you want, or trance or whatever. But when we're able to look inside, totally inside, then everything happens. And this is what we call meditation or whatever it is. At the end of the day, this is just the same. You can call it whatever you want, or people say call God. It's really great. So just to talk to the cynical questions in the room, maybe, I don't know. And I will be very happy if you just share with us now, before we go forward with Rakefet, what do you feel about this? How do you see it? I see that Talor wrote something, and also Pam Mikkel, etc., from Denmark, and Adriana Pezin
And
from the
Mitzi is
USA.
writing also that the current time and era, the change to feminine energy, an energy of love, empathy, nurturing, peace and harmony and healing. So thank you, Mitzi, for writing that. And I really would like to know, what do you think is leadership, and what do you think is feminine leadership? I would like to hear also from the people around that with us in the live. Please share your thoughts, and what do you feel about what is leadership for you? And I think will be really interesting to read what you're saying.
And I think also you see Mitzi says about men needs to stand aside. I think you are right, but it's not a man. It's the manhood, it's the masculine energy that has to stand aside. We men has to learn how to open our hearts, how to contain, how to be more empathic. And there is a difference between even sympathy and empathy. Empathy means that I see you in your place, like this prince that I was telling the story. I have to find out if you are in pain, I have to find out within myself these painful moments or painful space in order to connect to you. It's not just saying, okay, I see you are in pain, it will be okay, like silver lining. No, no. It is connecting inside and feeling the pain that you feel now. And this is for men, I think, for now, for thousands of years that man has done some wrong things on this planet. We have to create this healing, to find out within us this place that really can connect to this pain that we created to women. And from this moment, we can create a healing.
So
Raqefet.
I must tell you that you were just saying, I was just about to say something and you kind of give me the jump to it, because it's exactly what I was thinking, that first of all, before we can lead other people, we need to lead ourselves and to lead our bodies and to feel, I think it's the inner leadership inside of us. So give us the right nutrition to choose, you know, it reminds me of something, and it reminds me that when I gave birth to my kids, so I remember that I was such stressed that I couldn't breathe. I started breathing like a dog, you know, like this. I couldn't breathe, and someone told me, "You know how to breathe." My doula, she stood next to me, and she whispered in my ear, "You know how to breathe," because I couldn't breathe because I was so stressful, because it was painful. And the minute that she told me, remember, you know how to breathe, and I started breathing calmly. And I actually took myself into meditation. And what happened was that I released all the muscles, and then I could give birth without any pain. And I remember that the next birth that I gave, and it actually changed everything, because at a minute that we release, we let nature do what he knows best. And so many times when we try to lead even our own body, we try to decide what is the right path for our body, even, you know, like in nutrition, and like in diets, and we don't listen. We don't listen to what the body have to tell us. So before we go and lead other people, let's find the way to listen to our body, the way that he asked us to lead all the process that's going on inside of us, and then we can be we can open our ears enough to hear what need to be changed in around us and in our leadership outside of us. The first thing is to find a way to lead yourself, your inner leadership. What's your body is asking you, and then we can be able to hear what is around us and what we need to contain around us. So I think it's a very powerful womb that each and every one of us need to learn how to listen to, and then we can contain other people as well.
So, Raqefet, I know we didn't plan it, but I felt by your story that first maybe we should stop a moment for talking and maybe create some kind of a exercise, a really short exercise of breathing. And I will do it by showing you resonant leadership means, what means. I have here a Tibetan bowl, and we'll just take a deep breath together, all of us, and close our eyes for a moment. And we take a breath, we'll take all the energy within our body, and then we will let go all the breathing, and we'll breathe slowly, slowly outside, and we'll feel it. Let's do it 3 times. Now again, inhale, exhale. And now when you will exhale, you have the chance to let go from your body what you don't need. Old patterns, stuckness, fear, We just take a deep breath and we let go of all of this. And I see only Rakefet, and I know when she closes her eyes and she looks like this, she sees a lot of things. So maybe you want to share with us, what do you see now?
Yes. I saw a lot of people standing together and breathing together, like synchronizing their breathing and their heartbeats. That's what I saw. And it was beautiful because it felt so much is what we want to learn, how to be in the same rhythm, how to know that everything is okay in that beat. We don't need to hurry up. We can just stop. Imagine that. Imagine that the entire world had a day in a week that we stop and just breathe. Everyone in the world is just stopping and breathing together for 2 minutes. Inhale and exhale. That's what I saw. I saw so many people standing together and just breathing together, and then the rhythm of their hearts were synchronizing.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's so, maybe we'll do also 3 times like making a sound. The sound will come from the womb. I was teaching men how to make a sound from the womb. Sometimes it works, but we don't have a womb, but we have to learn how to connect to our womb. So maybe we do it together now, again 3 times. And imagine what Rakefet saw now. Imagine ourselves together in a huge, huge circle from all over the world. You know, people here really from all over the world. And we
Yeah.
connect together and we put our hands on our hara, 3 inches beyond our navel. And then we take a deep breath and we make a sound. And again, energy to our body, and we exhale and relax and let go of all the stress we have in our body. And we connect to our womb, to containing, to loving ourselves, to be, put ourselves in our womb, and do it again. Just surrender, just let go, be one with the universe, like a drop of water that comes to the ocean. We are afraid to lose our individuality, but we are ready to lose everything, all our attachments. We become the ocean itself, all of us together in the ocean. So let's do it once more and feel like a drop, able to drop into the ocean. Slowly, slowly let go of your head and release your shoulders. You look with closed eyes on the ground, and slowly you open your eyes and you raise them to the screen, and you look again on Rakefet Beka Moses that will share with us again and again her story, amazing story. Thank you, Rakefet. The
Thank
floor
you.
is
I see that a lot of people wrote to us what is their vision of leadership. I think I'm going to show a few so that people can see. Fiona wrote, divine feminine wisdom, compassion, and deep empathy. Thank you, Fiona. And Tal-O wrote that feminine leadership can heal the world in its time. And she
Oh,
wants to borrow,
yes.
yes, the feminine traditional rules. Okay, and the wiki is writing the balance of the universe holds male and female energy as a complete consciousness. Exactly, the world has been run by male energy for too long. Time to find a balance.
Right
Exactly
on.
that. And Rita taking responsibility for everything, following my heart and go for it. To know we are all one and everything, every act matters. Wow, so amazing things that you're writing.
So I would like, Rakefet, if it's okay for you, to share with you one of my biggest dreams. We already did it, almost did it, but it didn't work at the end. Once, yes. I was born on the 21st of June, which is the longest day, and the mystic says that this is the most powerful male energy. And to have
Wow,
male energy, yes, male energy, because it's the longest day, and the shortest day is the most powerful feminine energy. And it's like riding a wild horse at the end of the day, to have this kind of male energy. And I realized many years ago that my healing will be to balance my male energy and female energy. And I had a dream, and I want to share it now with all the people from all over the world, that we will come to the Dead Sea, which is the lowest place on this planet, the most close place to the womb of the earth. When you are in the Dead Sea, there is not nowhere to go down. You can really relax and be there. And my dream is, and I'm saying it here now, that at the 25th of June, after COVID will disappear or not disappear, but after the panic of COVID will disappear, that we can have people from all over the world. We almost did it, coming to the Dead Sea together, men and women, and create peace between the genders, because this is it. And it's not only men and women, it's trans, and we have many gays or many energies now. So we have to
yes.
create this peace between men and women, between these two energies, and to make the possibility that we will work together. So this is the vision. I put it now. I don't know what will happen, but I know that in the last years, whatever I was dreaming came really soon. So I'm put it here that we all be together there and we can do it.
So we can
Thank
hold that image in our heads, and it will happen as soon as possible. Universally rules, it will happen soon. And I think you are really right that we need balance. We really need balance now. We need to see how, like the yin and yang, like we are actually completing one another, and not trying to say this is my way, this is the right way. No, all the ways are right, and they are all going inside out, and just really the whole is bigger from its parts. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but in Hebrew it is translated this way. So when you add 1 + 1, it's not 2, is much bigger than that. And this is something that we need
you.
to learn.
Synergy.
Synergy, yes, exactly. Exactly. And I want to say one more thing that they told me when I asked about what is the most important things that need to be said here today. So I got the message that is we need to understand that the strength in us is not measured by taking the weak out of the society and showing them how we are better than them. It's exactly the opposite. It's about knowing how to accept and how to contain even those that we don't agree with, even those that are completely different than me, and that even those who are challenging me. If we know how to contain them, that's what will make us complete, and that's what will make us leaders as well, because we need to show how to do that to more people in order for them to know how to do that as well, and then we will be united. This is actually the lesson that our world is going to now. United, being united, unity. And until now, the lesson that the world has been in the past about 20 years was self-proof, to show ourselves, to show who we are, to show how individual we are, that we don't need anyone else. We just need ourselves to show that we are better than others, individuality. And now we started a lesson of unity. So unity is accepting everybody the way they are.
Raqefet, I know we didn't plan it, but I have a question, and I want you to really look inside and give us an answer. Yes, we are
Okay.
talking about the future. We are in SGLA. We are talking a lot about the desired future, how you create your best future and how you connect to your future self. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe online, live, you can really go inside and tell us about how do you see the planet future. I know it's big, I know, but I would like to have this. If you don't do it, that's okay also. But
I
you will know
actually
this is a surprise for you.
I did it a few weeks ago because
Yes,
I was really curious as well, because they kept talking to me about you're going to major changes and it's going to be completely different from what it is now, and from 20 years from now you will look at your earth and you will not see the same thing that is happening now. So the first thing that they showed me, and it was amazing, is the way that we are going to work with nature. And I'm saying work with nature because it is going to be something that we will do together, all of us. So I've seen like really ecological towns, and that everything, everywhere there are flowers and trees, and we eat only what we grow, like it used to be, but we will use the water in order to get them back to the ground, and also windmills and a lot of things that are going to change. That's the first major thing, the first major change that they showed me. I wish I could show you the picture because it's so beautiful, but everything is green. All the buildings are green. All the buildings, all over the buildings, we're using the sun, we are using the wind, we are using the water, but we are not using them for our benefit. We are using them in a circle kind of way, that we are using the wind and we are giving back something into the earth in order for it to grow. And then it's not like now that we are taking it for us, for humanity. No, humanity is going to give back to nature. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that we are going to live in communities. We're going to use the services of one another, not by paying with money, but by giving one another what we need. Like, the idea of the kibbutz, it was a good idea, just not the right time, because it didn't last for a long time. It lasts for about, I think, 70 years, but it's going to be something else. It's going to be worldwide, because there is now the ability to use the technology that we didn't have then. And then what we're going to use is the communities are going to use the services of one another, even in communities all around the world. So if there is one community in the US that is using, that know how to create something that another community in Israel don't know, there will be a way to work together, and all the world will be affected of it. So the money is going to change also to, well, we already see digital money, but we're going to use it in a different kind of way. Everything is going to change. All the things that are now creating and we are starting to imagine already exist around us, but we're not able to see it just yet. So we're starting to see it now. And all the visions that you just saw and what I see, it's things that is created right now because we can see it. Otherwise, we won't be able to see it.
amazing, amazing. First, I want to really thank Mitzi Ocean that she's really giving us a lot of things. I will not go on them now, and also Sigal Rosenfeld. Thank you so much. And I'll tell you something that I heard, and I think this is what we do also in our program. When you see this kind of picture of your best future ever, which is sometimes goes beyond the fantasy, you have to live it as if it already happened. Because when you live it as if it already happened, it already changes your life here and now, create a transformation here and now. So if you just close your eyes for a moment and say and feel what Raqefet told us now, as if it already happened, it's going to change your life from now, from this very moment. And there is many stories about this that they look like miracles, but it's not. Greg Braden said once that something that looks for us like a miracle, when we understand it or science shows that it works, it becomes a technology. So it's not miracles, it works. And he shows also in hospitals, I will not go into it now, how you can really heal people in a hospital just by feeling that he is already healthy, just by imagining that this works. So the whole thing of being sick and not sick, it's over actually. It's over when how we see it in the future. And also somebody said about the fear in Israel now. So I'll say also about the fear. This world of fear, this world of anxiety is already over. We cannot really understand it. It goes beyond imagination. But if you feel like you live your life from this very moment as if it already happened, it just happened. So this is my tip for you for today. And I
And
think that if
holding
it,
that image, even if you don't see it yet, it is so important because knowing it is believing it. One of the messages that were a few weeks ago were that when we don't feel love, we need to use faith. When we don't feel that we have faith, we need to use love. And in order to create those things that we want, and we don't see them at the moment, and we are struggling now with looking and seeing that bright future when everything around us is completely different. So we need to use either faith or love. So whatever it is that you are feeling now, if you feel love, it's so great, use love. If you don't feel love, use faith. If you feel faith, use faith. If not, use love.
thank you, Rakefet. I'll tell you the truth, I can sit with you and talk the whole night. But I think it's time to go forward. So
Yeah.
we will still be here and we'll still talk, but I want to go to the next stage of this evening, amazing evening. I learned a lot from you and I love the energy we are creating together. So this is maybe a beginning of something very, very big.
Yes.
So
And
thank you,
you were
thank you.
talking about Greg Braden, and I believe he's also in the leadership program, right?
Yes,
And
he's speaking in the
the
leadership program.
story that you were talking about is amazing. I have seen his lecture about it, and it is amazing. So I would love it if you will tell more about the program, about the leadership program.
Okay, thank you, Rakefet, thank you. So this is it. I will ask Anna, amazing Anna, that she is in backstage now, to put my presentation. It will be short, just to tell you about SGLA, Sustainable Global Leadership Academy, and to explain to you how important this is for my life. And I will ask Anna to go forward. So this is my story actually, and I will tell you. I'll begin with the story of a man. No, go back, please, Anna, for one. Yes. A story of a man that was a fisherman. And one day he was lucky and like a miracle happens. And he was fishing this golden fish. So he was amazed. He said, wow, wow, golden fish. It is really amazing. And then he know the story that he can ask his wishes, 3 wishes from this golden fish. And the fish was talking to him. So he said to the fish, okay, do you want me to ask you what are my wishes? And you will give it to me. So the golden fish said, no, no, today the story goes on a different path. Today I will give you the 3 wishes. And then if you look at the next, then you see what are the wishes. He was asking you, who are you? What do you want? And where are you going? And this is what I want to ask you, each and every one of us. Who are you? What do you want? Where are you going? When I wake up in the morning, I'm asking myself these questions. Not always I have an answer, but I think it's crucial. It's like mind blowing. It changes our mind. And you know, the scientists from the future studies showed also already in the 60s of the last century that just by asking these questions and focusing on our high purpose and how it connects to our best future ever that we want to create has an effect. And Professor Pollack said that there is a correlation between the human desires or dreams, if you want, and the ability to go for it and to make it happen. It's not a mystical thing. It is really has proven by science. He did a science by going to 17 years old children, and he was asking them these questions: where do you want to be in 10 years from now? And after this, he was, you know, he was quite stubborn and consistent. So he checked after 10 years. And can you imagine how many of those guys who knew how their future will look like really achieved it? Can you imagine? You can write it here in the chat. How many of them really achieved what they wanted? So I'll wait for a second before I'm telling you the answer. Are you with me here? Don't leave me now. I'll feel like a birthday child that nobody came to him. Mitzi said 2%. 2 people or 2%? Okay, I'll tell you. We'll go forward. So almost 50% of these guys, Aline said 90%. So almost 50% of these children achieved what they saw 10 years before. And it was more than 1,000 people there. And what was more exciting and mind-blowing for me was that all those who knew what they want to do, that didn't achieve it, were much more successful in the Western meanings than all the others. So just by asking these questions and looking for the future, and we'll do today, I'll show you a little bit about our future imagery. So this is the question. And the question is, what is your high purpose? And how do you lead your life? And the question is, when you are there and you have to take a decision, whatever decision you have to take in your life, it is important that you will see your future, your best future, and then we do like a backcasting. If you want to be in 10 years from now there, where do you want to be in 9 years, 8 years, etc., 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 and then you know what you have to do tomorrow morning. This is really important. So let's go forward, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Next, Anna, next. Okay. So this is my mother. My mother shows me that my story has begun long ago before I was born. My mother was 17 years old when she was in Auschwitz, in the Holocaust. All her family was killed. Only her and her sister and another brother later survived. Parents, grandparents, uncles, the whole family was killed. And before she died, her last sentence to me was, "Already there you have been with me." Already there means she said to me when she was 80 years old before she died, that when she was in the Holocaust, when she was 17 years old, in the midst of hell, she knew she's going to have a child. I'm her elder child. She knew I'm going to be her son, and she knew that we're going to be in Israel. She told me this. So just by imagining the future And can you imagine, you look at your mother's eyes and you say, oh, life is hard, I'm depressed or whatever. When you look to the eyes of a mother like this, you can never be depressed. It's like nothing to compare, all our problems or whatever it is. So this is something that taught me that future imagery works. When you imagine the future, like Viktor Frankl, if you know this, it really works. And then, I was a judge, and then I was also a meditation teacher, and you see a picture with me and Dalai Lama. And this is the book I wrote. This week I finished the other book. So this will also be interesting. And I'll ask Anna to go forward just to tell you a little bit of what we are going to do. So this is when you create your future imagery, it's what Seneca said, that the best sailor with the best ship will never come to his home port if he doesn't know where his home port is. And when you really go this way, this path that we are going in SGLA program, when you really go this path, you see your future. And when you see your future, it's like a huge magnet behind your head, and everything goes to this direction. And actually, at the end of the day, leadership is also a direction. Next. This is SGLA essence. I will not talk a lot about it, but we are training future leaders on 4 dimensions: the awareness dimension, the mental dimension, the emotional dimension, the physical dimension. And we are doing it already for the last 10 years. And thanks to the happy days of COVID, we are now creating it all over the world with many people from all over the world, with the best teachers from all over the world. Let's go next. So this is a question, I leave it to you. What I said, that our high purpose is not a rock, it's a dance. I took it from Osho from another situation, but I put it here. What it means to you when we say that our high purpose is not a rock and it's a dance? How do you see it? Can you write it on the chat? What it means for you that our high purpose is not a rock, it is a dance. I will not tell you now. I want to see what you're writing. Thank you, Mitzi. Thank you for sharing your mom's story as well. I will be very happy, Mitzi, if you contact me to an interview or to a session. We can talk a lot about this. Hello, Anat. Hello, Oda. Yes, it's a movement, for sure. My guide dances with me. Yes. But what it means that our responsibility is to create our high purpose. When we are dancing in life, it's a flow, as you said, as Aline said now. But it's much more than this. It shows us that our high purpose, it's not a rock that you can find it somewhere and then you know what is your high purpose in life. What is your calling? No, it's not this. It is much more important to understand that we are creating our high purpose each and every moment in life. And it doesn't matter what is your belief system, if you are religious or non-religious, and you believe in existence or in God or whatever it is. It is something where whatever is your belief system, you have to find out how to dance and to create your high purpose. And it's not a rock that you can find it and then relax. No. As far as you are here alive on this planet, you will always have to create your high purpose and to make it impactful. And then, as I share with you, I know why I wake up in the morning. I know what I have to do. I know this is part of my life. And this is such a happiness and satisfaction that all your life gonna change. Next. Anna here. Okay. So this is my definition to high purpose as well. And I said that our high purpose will show itself when we connect to our self-love, to the love of the universe. So first of all, we have to love ourselves. We say in Hebrew, "Va'afta l'reacha kamocha," means first of all, you have to love yourself. and not to judge yourself, to go beyond the judgments. And then when you feel this love, maybe we all for a moment say to ourselves, I'm lovable just the way I am. Say to yourself, I'm lovable just the way I am. I'm lovable just the way I am. And science shows if you say something 10,000 times, it works on your subconscious. So the thing is that if you every morning say to yourself, I'm lovable the way I am 100 times, and you do it for 100 days, our subconscious is like a sponge, is a stupid. The more you put there, it gets it. So this is something that can really help. And then we have to ask ourselves not what is for us. Yes, but we have to listen carefully to the call for action comes from our desired future. So we have to look at the world as a paradise and really look inside and say, what is the call for action that comes from our desired future? And then we can really find out very good our very clear, very focused, our high purpose. And then we know all of a sudden what we are supposed to do practically on this planet. Next slide. Let's go forward. So now I will not do it because we are short on time, but I will tell you that what we do in our program is this future imagery that I wrote in the book, and we do it already 10 years ago. It is an amazing, amazing, amazing quest that we go inside and we are connecting to ourselves. We take one happy moment or the happiest moment we had in life, and we connect to the feeling of this happy moment, to the taste of this happy moment, to the smell, whatever is there. It's longer for sure. And then we take this feeling and we go through a tunnel from the past to the future. And when we go to the tunnel, we leave all the past behind us. Only ourselves naked with this feeling of our happy moments. And then we go out of the tunnel, and then there is vacuum there, and we throw this feeling, and we create in our imagination our paradise, our Eden. And then we look around what we created. We look around how it looks like, if it's in a jungle or in the seashore or on the mountain, how we work in nature, like Raqefet said before. And then when we go forward, we see a ladder in our paradise. And then we climb the ladder and we stand on the sky, on the canopy of our paradise. And there, when we are in the sky, we look forward and we get an amazing, amazing hints of our future. And then we see somebody walking to us. And this somebody is our future self, our future self. And we see our future self coming to us. It's us in 7 years from now. And when we are there, us in 7 years from now, we create a miracle. We create a magic that we can hug our best us in 7 years, because we can choose whatever we want. And then we imagine that every cell in our body is coming into a merge with our future self cells. So in every cell of our body, there is already ourselves in 7 years. And then we go down to the paradise, and then we see what is our role in this planet, what is our present. And then, as I said, you go there and you feel as if it already happened, as we create our future, our paradise, right here, right now on this planet. So this is an amazing, amazing, amazing meditation or future imagery that we do. And I really invite you to come. So let's go next, and I will tell you about. So this, you can see our future mentors. Bruce Lipton will talk today. You will see a recorded interview I had with him. We have also Princess Laurentine from the Netherlands. She is an amazing woman, and she's like a role model for women, really amazing. And we have Greg Brennan that everybody knows already, and we have much more teachers, but I gave only these four just that you will have an understanding of these leading methods. And then we'll go forward. Next. So this is the SGLA program. It begins 13th of May, means the coming Thursday. And we have 12 meetings, and we have also mentoring family groups all over the world. Every 8 to 10 people, because we are a big group, so every 8 to 10 people has a family, SGLA family, and we are working together with a mentor to help us go on through this amazing, intense path or quest that we are going through this program. And so let's go forward. Next. Here you see this website, which is, if you push this link, and you cannot push it now, but maybe Anna will share it here in the chat, or you go to sgla2020.com and you write personal session with Shlomo, and then you can really create an interview or a session with me, and I will invite you to the program. But before that, we can talk on your personal high purpose, and we can have at least half an hour, maybe more, session that I think will help a lot to clear things in your life, in relationships, in any kind of decisions we have to make, in the profession, in education, and actually at the end of the day, how we can live our life better. So please come. Here you see in the chat, you can see this, how you can really create this interview. It can be this Zoom, but it can be also in Calendly, as you see here in the chat. If you want, just write, I want a session, and then we'll help you to come in and to be with us. So the next program begins at the 13th of May, means the coming Thursday. And if you want to come, you can come also 1 week later, but you are really invited to come to the program. I'm sure that what my high purpose is to create this upon this planet and to share it as more as I can. And if you have some money problems, I want you in anyway. We will give you scholarships. I want everybody to come and be with us. I think it's really important for the world. We are now creating the best leaders for this planet Earth. Leaders who are aware, leaders who have this feminine understanding. They can be male or female, but they have this feminine understanding. And we prefer women. That's the truth. At the end of the day, women are easily connect to their womb, are easily connect to their big heart. So this is something that we really go for it. So if you want to create this, you are welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, Raqefet, if you want to comment or say something, I'm with you.
Yes, I think it's so important, as I said at the beginning, to find the right leadership at that time. To each and every one of us to find the leadership that is inside of us, in order to help others to see the leader that's in them. And because we are going to be, each and every one of us, a leader in this world, and together we'll find a way to do it, to do it together, and not just to be one leader that is showing the way and everyone is walking after him. We're all going to be leaders, and each and every one of us need to find it inside of him. So I think this program is amazing, and I know that there are amazing teachers and mentors that are going to be in the program. So we have put the link also in the comments. So if you want, just press on the link in the comments, and you can schedule a meeting, an interview with Shlomo. And before we go to Bruce's interview, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, everyone that came here. Thank you, Shlomo, for being with me and talking about such an important subject.
Yes, amazing, amazing, amazing. And all those who wrote that they want to come, you are invited. And if you have a limited fund, that's okay. Money is not a barrier. You have to learn this. This is what I'm telling everybody. If you're really there and we'll accept you during this interview, we talk about the money last. And then at the end, I'll tell you the story before. It's not proper for marketing, but I will tell you the story. If you don't have money, so what I'm doing with you is like, I want to ask you how much you can pay. If you say nothing, it's also okay. If you say a little sum, it's also okay. What I will ask you is to say a little bit more to get out of your comfort zone and create commitment and energy. This is all what needed. So you are all invited, really. You can talk to me, and if it's okay and there is not any kind of health issues or things that can really harm you, you can be there, and you can be the best leader for yourself and for this planet. So again, I say welcome. All of you, you are very welcome. And I want to say, Raqefet, that it was a pleasure. Really, it's like there are nice words people say to each other in this situation, but you know, and I know that it goes beyond. You know, and I know that there is kind of a frequency, a vibration that goes between us. You know, and I know that our heart is open, and you know, and I know that working together can create this balance in leadership on this planet. And as I said before, I didn't say it, but you will also give one lecture in this program, coming program, on feminine
Yeah.
leadership. And all what I left to say that thank you so much for being who you are, and thank you so much for being in my life as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So
So now,
thank
if you still, one moment, if you still have any kind of questions, you can put them in the chat,
yeah.
and I will go and introduce Bruce Lipton, the amazing Bruce Lipton. I think most of you know him already, and we will put this interview with him, and I assure you, you will enjoy it so much. Welcome, because he's egoless person, and he's so amazing, which is really great. So actually, Bruce Lipton is bridging science and spirit, and you will see it here. He explored the epigenetic actually, and he is, I think, bringing to this planet the missing link between consciousness and real life, between science and consciousness, science and spirituality. So I will not say anymore. He wrote the book, The Biology of Belief or Biology of Faith. And if you want to read something that can change your life, just go and read it. He was a famous biologist, and he saw the petri dishes. And he was looking at the petri dishes, and he understood from the petri dishes that we are not the slaves of our genes. And by learning this, he began to learn and to explore what it means to be there, and what it means that our consciousness can create our physical life. So this is really amazing, and it goes beyond understanding of sickness and health. And I think it's really crucial to see him here and listen to him here in this COVID time. And I think it's also crucial, I say it for the Israelis guys, when you feel fear now, fear of fearing in risk, fear of bombs or fear of COVID or fear of sickness, just look at it and it will heal you. Just looking at it will heal you. So Anna, the floor is yours now, Anna. You bring us Bruce Lipton, and we'll all say thank you for Anna as well for being behind the
Thank you, Anna.
scene. Thank you all. Welcome, 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 Dr. Bruce Lipton. I'm so happy.
Shlomo, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for letting me be here with your community, because this is a very important evolutionary community to change the future, which we're in change. So your work is extremely important and help guiding us to a more healthy future.
So, Dr. Bruce Lipton, I already introduced you, and
Yes.
I would like you to share with us a few things which maybe some of them will be more personal. But I think, as I said already, I see you as one of the great future leaders on this planet. So this is something that I know that I mean it really seriously. And I know that you are one of our great teachers on this planet, connecting science and awareness, let's say, in science and consciousness.
Yeah,
So,
and spirituality.
in spirituality, yes. Okay, sometimes people don't understand the word spirituality, so I use awareness and consciousness, but yes.
Okay, and then I will say the word in quantum physics, we talk about what is called the field. And the definition of the field is invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. And so I say spirit, field, same definition. So quantum physics is giving us an insight into the invisible forces that we are, that are controlling our life. So for me, it was like, oh my God, science and spirit have come together.
So I would like to begin with asking you a personal question. We know more, people around the world, because you are very famous. We know the way that you are. Actually, you did that. You came from the petri dishes, and then you saw, in a way, the spirit in this and the connection between them. But I would
Absolutely.
have like to ask you, what were your feelings when you saw this, and what is the transformation that you yourself got through this let's say, adventure?
Well, it was like they say, lightning hit me. And my life was like, all of a sudden, it's like everybody shook up my brain. And a new picture instantly is like, oh my God. Because as a scientist, I wasn't too much into the spirituality and that stuff. I was into the genes and the proteins and the chromosomes. But when the cells revealed to me, they were controlled from the outside, not controlled from the inside. And when I saw, well, why are people different from each other? Because we can't exchange biological pieces. I can't put a lung into you. You can't put, a liver into me, because our parts have different identity. And so if you put your tissue into my body, my immune system will say not self. And it knows automatically. I said, wait, the immune system knows whose cells are these? I say, how does it know? And I then found out at the surface of the cell, there are these proteins that like little antennas, like little television antennas. No two people have the same set of these antennas. Every human has their own private one. I say, well, in medicine, we talk about the antenna is where the difference comes, the physical antenna. And I started to go, no. It's an antenna, receives a signal. And I said, the signal is being picked up by my cells is different than the signals picked up by yours, Shlomo, or every one of us has our own signal. I said, but what is the signal? I say, it's invisible energy. And all of a sudden my life said, oh my God, I can't die. I'm not in here. I'm the broadcast. So I give the analogy, I'm a television set playing the Bruce show. So the broadcast is Bruce. My cells pick up the broadcast, and now I'm on the show. Here's Bruce, the show. And I say, but if you're watching a TV and the TV breaks, we say TV is dead. I go, yeah, TV is dead. It's not working. But the question I asked was,
The broadcast.
if the TV is dead, the broadcast is still there. And I say, if a new embryo shows up from a human with the same antennas, I'm back, but I got a different TV set. It could be male TV, could be female TV, could be white, black, brown, yellow, red. That's a TV. We are not the TV. We are the broadcast. And the broadcast is always there. So I said, oh my goodness. But I have to ask, myself as a scientist, that minute was like, I didn't believe in spirituality. And then like, oh my God, I'm spiritual. And I asked myself like a science question. Well, why have a body and a spirit? Why not just be the spirit? And 50 trillion cells in my body comes the answer. And I laugh because they're Jewish comedian cells. I say, what do you mean? I say, I ask a question. Why have a body and a spirit? Why not just be spirit? And the cells go, Bruce, if you're, they ask me a question. I ask a question. They ask me a question. The cells go, Bruce, if you're just a spirit, what does chocolate taste like? And all of a sudden I said, oh, this is a mechanism to see, to smell, to taste, to hear, to touch. And it translates my experience into vibration. It goes back to my source. So my spirit could talk about love like a fact. Love is this, love is that. And I say, but if you don't have a body, you can't feel love. And all of a sudden I say, oh, this is extension of my spirit. This gives me, an opportunity to experience feelings and see things and smell and taste things. And then the next thing I said to myself, but wait, but my broadcast, my field, my spirit moves me around. And all of a sudden I said, wait, I am creating using this machinery. And then all of a sudden I started to laugh to myself. I said, people think you die and you go to some place like a heaven or something. And I go, no, you're born into heaven. This is your experience of creation. This is where, Shlomo, you are creating a life. I am creating a life. Everyone out there is creating. And I say, we create, we have experiences. So when we're out of the body, when the television is gone, the spirit has the memory and the experience of being here. And if it comes back, it expands again. So my whole life changed because I said, I cannot die. And the fear, because most people, from being a child, the first time you learn about somebody dying, as a child, it scares you. First, it's funny because first you don't think about you dying. First you think about your parents dying. Because then they say, oh, if they die, I'm all alone. So as a child, it was like fear. And then you get a little older and you realize, wait, I can die too. And that, and so we live in protection, unconscious. Everywhere you go, you're like watching out, not consciously, subconscious, watching out for
It's
your
like
protection.
Shakespeare said, Shakespeare in Julius Caesar, the coward dies many times before his death.
Yeah.
So,
But when I fully understood that I was a spirit, the fear of death disappeared.
yes.
And when it disappeared, I have more freedom of creation. I have happier, more better experiences because I'm not operating from fear. If I die, I'm not going to die. I'm going to still be here in the broadcast, So when it's interesting for me because I lived most of my life like regular people and afraid of the dark and the dead. And then all of a sudden it's like, I have no fear anymore. And my life is so much better without worrying about life and dying. It's like, that's not part of me. My life is to live everything, enjoy everything, touch it, smell it, taste it. This is why I have this machine.
Yes. Right. What I will ask, I wrote a book, Future Intelligence. In my book, I wrote about the courage to forget. So I think when you just came to this understanding and feeling and maybe transformational experience, you had to forget all what science said, many, many years before. You had all these old patterns of science and
Yes.
you had to forget them. It was easy. It went like in a magic, or it was something that you were working on it.
It was instant and magic. The moment I said, it was like not a devotion. Oh, I believe. No. It was knowing. And with knowing, it's like instantly, I got a different life. And I've been the happiest person and created, I live in beautiful. I live here, I live in beautiful.
Great. So the next question I want to ask is about leadership. As I told, SGLA is Sustainable Global Leadership
Yes.
Academy. And in our leadership, we are actually training the future leaders of this planet. And I would like to get from you this understanding. First of all, how do you see leadership? And how do you see leadership coming from your understanding of the cells and spirituality, the science of spirituality, and how this will affect the future leaders on this planet?
Well, it's really important for us to recognize that our history is built on the fears. Especially in a lot of religions, they scare people. You're going to die. You don't want to go to hell. You got some rules. Well, make up the rules. You follow the rules. And I go, that's leading from fear and making rules, and people are afraid, and that's not living. I think we need to change the first understanding and tell everybody, look, you're here to create. You're here to manifest the heaven on earth. I say, most of our lives, we don't experience that because the programming that we got from being a child and growing up is a program of fear. Be afraid of this, be afraid of this. And I go, that fear means we close down. Love means we open up. You can't be closed and open at the same time. So we have to let go of fear to fully experience love. And then we have to start to recognize that, then why are we here? And then I go, well, from my personal experience, to create a wonderful life. And I say, most people's lives are like living in the fear, but they fall in love sometimes. And I say, the moment they fall in love, their whole life changes. What was scary and fear now is, no, I'm in love. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, everything makes me feel good. I'm in love. I love my partner. I love my this. I love that. And I go, oh, that's called a honeymoon. And I say, honeymoon is like heaven on earth. I say, well, every day, most people are like blah, 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 blah. And then they meet someone and fall in love. And 24 hours later, it's not blah, blah, blah anymore. 24 hours later, it's like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's heaven on earth. I go, it was always heaven on earth. But when you fell in love, you stop playing the fear. And when you stop playing the fear, you become the real creator. Fear shuts you down. Love opens you up. So what we need for leaders in the future is to understand is, we really have to teach, what is it like to live heaven on earth, not fear on earth? Because everybody teaches, be afraid, they're going to get you. I tell you, the learning that we have as children shapes the rest of our life. And I remember when I was very young, maybe 5 years old, because by then it was 1949, the war was over. And I remember a book on a table in the living room, a big book with pictures. And it was the Holocaust. It was the pictures from the camps. And I'm only a little kid. And I see these pictures of the bodies piled up, and I go, it's scaring me. I look in the pictures, I scare. And I go to my mother, I said, what did these people do? And she said, they were Jews. I go, I'm a Jew. And that moment of my life was fear. I always was, who was I afraid of? Now I'm afraid of the Germans. But in 1949, we were also supposed to be afraid of the Russians. So now I'm afraid of the Germans. Now I'm afraid of the Russians. As a kid, like Anne Frank, I used to think, when they come, where am I going to hide? That's what as a child, that was my fear. And when you grow up with that, you don't feel safe in the world. And now with the older, now with the bigger picture, I see all of this was part of an evolution. Yes, the people died in that Holocaust, but they gave their life. They gave their life as teachers to never do this again. And I get a little nervous in today's world where a lot of people say, oh, the Holocaust didn't happen. I say, then you forgot the teaching, because the teaching was, you want to see it go wrong? That's the wrong. And so I really want people to wake up to the reality. We are creating, we learn lessons. So when we come back, we don't have to play the same lesson again. And so as a child, I lived in fear. And all my life underneath, not every day I go outside and I'm afraid, underneath in the subconscious, it's like watching all the time to be afraid. And when I understood that I was really a spirit, a field, an energy, I let go of that. And my life just changed, just like one day. All of a sudden, I wake up no fear. And I started to wake up at why am I here? To create. What am I going to create? Happiness, joy, love, harmony, balance. And I say, well, then if I were a leader, then my job would be to help people learn to live in a garden. The story, the proverbial Garden of Eden. We came from evolution. We came from this garden, but a garden is not a battleground. A garden is the height of cooperation. And what we have to realize is we came from a garden, we destroyed the garden. And what we need now are leaders to help us. Let's put that garden back together. We're going to have to learn to live in harmony with each other. We're going to have to learn to live in harmony with the Mother Earth. We can't treat Mother Earth like we've been doing because we're destroying it. And we came from Mother Earth. So if you destroy Mother Earth, then so we destroy ourselves. And so new leaders have to change the mission for people. Not so many big armies, not so many big bombs, because when we understand the nature of the garden, all of us are in a garden, and the garden is cooperation. And so the leadership of the world has to lead from cooperation, number one. Number two, the body is, we see ourselves in a mirror as like one person. I go, no, you can't see with enough magnification. I'm a community. I am made out of 50 trillion cells. You can't see them. 50 trillion of them. They're community. And I go, so why is this relevant? I say, there's a government. Oh, so what's the government? I say, the brain. I say, well, what does the government do? It does not tell the people what their job is. If I'm a liver cell, I know my job as liver cell. If I'm a muscle cell, I don't need a government to tell me how to do it. What do I need a government for? Coordinate, to make my organs work in harmony with each other. That's the brain doesn't say, no, you do this job. The cells know how to do the job. They just need leadership. They need coordination. And this is what a government should be, not telling people how to do their work. We know how to do the work. What we need to do is work in harmony in this country with the people in the other country and the people in that country. Why? Because humans are cells. You're a cell, Shlomo, I'm a cell, everyone's a cell. I say, so what? I say, but all the cells, when they come together, make a new organism. Like the cells in my body are cells, but when they come together, now we have Bruce, okay? And I'm saying the future of this planet is when every human person recognizes they are a cell in the body of something bigger called humanity. And that we have to work together, just like the cells in my body. If my cells are working in harmony, I have health. If there's disharmony in my community, I have disease. And I say the world is experiencing a disease. Why? Because there's no harmony. And the leadership of this world is to not challenge each other, be Darwinian, who's going to conquer the other one. It's not the future. The future is how can we work in harmony so all of our efforts, like in a healthy body, all of our efforts create a life of love and joy and happiness. And it's completely different than today's world, which is based on fear.
Yes.
You know, and I see it coming down. So when you see the chaos,
great.
It means it's falling apart.
I just want to share with you, you know, my story, because I think we have almost the same story. You know, my mother ran away from Auschwitz. She was in Auschwitz. She ran away, and she taught us. When I was talking to her before she died, her last sentence says, she said to me, "Already there, you have been with me." When she said already there, means that when she was in the midst of hell, she knew that she's going to come to Israel, she's going to have a son, and she knew that when she is looking for the future, she can create the future. And as you said before, it's really, I had goosebumps because at the end, it's about going out. I also wrote it in the book, going out of the survival mode into the future creation mode. And this is also about sustainability, as you said, about Mother Earth. And yes, in this, I really feel we are having the same path on this planet, or at least we're resonant with each other.
Absolutely. What I teach and what the cell showed me. The cell showed me the simple. I say, I have a cell in a plastic petri dish. Okay, the cell's in a dish. I say, in one set of dishes, I put some food, nutrients. Another set of dishes, I put some toxin. I say, I put them back in the incubator and I say, when I come back, where are the cells? I say, when I come back, in the dish where the food is, all the cells go to the food. I say, in the dish where the toxin is, I say, all the cells go the other way. I say, so what's the point? I say, you can't go forward and backward at the same time. And so the point about it is, once we're in fear, we close down. I say, when you're going in growth, whether it's food or love, you have to be open, take it in. I want to assimilate. I want to bring it in, love, food. But when it's a scary thing, I say, no, I want to protect. I close down. So I say, you cannot be open and close at the same time. You cannot be in growing and in protection at the same time. They're opposite behavior. You can't go forward and grow
Connection will be
or run away in protection at the same time. So I say, then we have to recognize our consciousness is preparing us to either grow or to get in protection. When we're in protection, we shut ourselves down, we close ourselves off, we separate. Like in COVID, go to your home, stay in your home, don't talk to the people. I go,
social distance.
That's the end of growth. So you stay in your home, growth is gone. And I say, we have to come out. We have to recognize we are a community. We only work when we're in growth. You have to be open to everyone to help. And it's like, wow, well, that was like the ancient messages, but the ancient messages also got mixed with the fear message. I said, well, you can't have growth and fear message at the same time. They're opposite behavior. Yes. So I say, look at the world, just watch the news and tell me if you walk away from the news feeling, this is great, or you walk away from the news going, oh my God. I say, oh my God, it's the news. And I say, that kind of message causes people to shut down. And the most important fact that people don't know a lot. And I say, when you're in stress, when you are shutting down, when you're in fear, the hormones of stress shut off the immune system. And I go, why? I said, because the immune system uses a lot of energy. When you're very sick, you can't even get out of bed. You don't have any energy because the immune system. I go, yeah, but if you're being chased by the saber-toothed tiger and you have an infection, how do you want to split the energy? I go, infection's not a problem when the tiger's coming. Forget the infection. We shut off the immune system. We use the energy to run. So in today's world, why is so much sickness? And the answer is because people are living in fear. And when they live in fear, they already compromise the immune system. And I go, and guess what? COVID is coming. Everybody's afraid. And I go, yeah, and guess what? On the news, every day, be afraid. Be afraid. And I go, that makes them sick. Just to hear that story makes them sick. And so we need to change the whole leadership and recognize, what are we doing with our consciousness? Are we using it to grow or are we using it to protect? And I say the problem with protection, you cannot survive. When I was young, I was to tell you, we were afraid of the Russians. They were going to bomb us with the atom bomb. And on the TV, they used to show the atom bomb test. And I would be a kid and I'd watch the TV and I'd see they built like a little village or something. And then they blow the bomb up and the village blows away and burns up. And I'm a kid going, oh my God, atom bomb, Russians are coming. And we had to live in a like air raid drill, like in Israel. But everybody in Israel, they got the house, they got the bomb shelter built in the house. We have the bomb shelter. I say, so here's like a story. Just think of the town is working. It's summertime. You know, the kids are in school. The weather's fine. The jobs, everybody's working. It's growing. And the siren goes off for air raid. I say, then what happens? Everybody stops the job. And I go, where? They go into the bomb shelter. I go, what happened to the job? What about growth? I say, nope. When we're afraid in the bomb shelter, no growth. And then I go, but if it's just a test, you come out of the bomb shelter 15 minutes, 20 minutes, no problem. Here's the problem. What if you go into the bomb shelter and there's no all clear? I go, you stay in the bomb shelter? I say, how long can you live in a bomb shelter? I say, not too long. Why? Where are you going to get the food? Where are you going to get the water? Where are you going to get some good air? I say, if you stay in a bomb shelter for too long, you will die. And I'm going, in our minds, the media, the government is causing us
in the bomb shelter.
in the bomb shelter. It doesn't let up. There's not a day they say, yay, world peace, everybody happy. No, there's no day like that. So we're in trouble until we recognize this war and stuff. That was politics. It was religion. It's based on fear. And the theory of Darwin, which is the conventional belief, is based on what? Survival of the fittest in the struggle for life. I go, oh my God, the theory says just to evolve, we're in a battle and I have to win. I have to beat you before you beat me. And I go, this theory is the most destructive theory on the planet because it's wrong. Evolution is not based on a struggle and a battle. Evolution is based on harmony and community. And we're doing just the opposite. I said, well, then civilization is in trouble. I go, yeah, but we're beginning to wake up. And SGLA is a wake-up call. It says you can't lead like we've been doing because that leadership is causing the problem. And it's time for us to move into a different way of leading, a way of leading in harmony and health and growth and garden and stop this war, this violence, this fear, because that makes people give up power. That's the secret. If I feel afraid, I'm going to say, you do, take care of me, you take care of me. And then whoever you give that power to, they have power over you. And we have given up our power because we are been programmed to live in fear. And the idea is, no, you cannot live in fear. You can die in fear, but you can't live. And so it's time for the new leadership to say, wait, we got to build the community, not put the community under the ground in a bomb shelter. You got to open and live in harmony. And this is what we're trying to find. But you know, the money, when you're in fear, you'll pay somebody. I pay you all my money, protect me, please protect me. I give you everything. And that's why, like in the US, I mean, they got people living here. We pay more money for defense budget than the top 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 countries collective because they have us living in fear. I say, what's the result? I say, the country is falling apart. And now with the COVID, the greatest fear, why? Don't talk to your neighbor. It's like, well, that's the complete opposite of our evolution. And the fear makes you more susceptible because the hormones of fear shut off the immune system. Now you're more likely you're going to get sick. And it's complete opposite of life.
And when somebody is telling you that you have COVID, already you are so much afraid that your immune system is shut down just by telling you that you are sick. And then, you know, you cannot really resist any kind of virus.
That's exactly where illness is coming from, because we have an immune system. We had the immune system for 100,000, 200,000 years before medical school. People lived for 200,000 years. No pharmacy, no medical school, because they had belief and trust in themselves. And
for
today, with the education, I take away your belief that, oh, you're weak. You need protection. I can do protection. I'm a bigger guy. I got a club. You give me some money, I'll club all those guys. And I go, oh. And so as long as I'm in fear, I cannot grow because fear is shut down. And if I cannot grow, I also can get sick. And I look at the world and I say, there's sickness all over the world. And I go, and before there was a government, before there was a medical school, and before pharmaceutical, there wasn't this much sickness. You go into the animals in the forest and you tell me, how many of those animals are sick? And the answer is, you know which animals are sick? The ones that the humans have taken out and put in a cage. Those are the ones that are sick. You don't go out in the woods and find sick animals all over the place. I go, we are creating, not positive, but we're creating the end. And to come to the push now, can't do this anymore. We need to change now. And so we are in an evolution. And that's why training the new leaders is most important, because the old leaders are coming from a belief system that is destructive. And the new leaders have to be like parents. They have to, with everybody, it's like their children. And what do parents, they want the best for the children. I go, well, so what do? They give them education, they give them health care, they take care of them. The government is like, I'm going to take care of you I'm going to put an army up here. I go, what about me? You know, it's like, don't worry, I got the army. They don't care about the people. They care about the money. And what can I say, Shlomo? It's I don't have to say it. Just go read the newspaper. You could read it yourself every day.
I want to go on from this point. So, you know, sometimes people from the mainstream, they hear you and maybe they hear me as well, and they are becoming more cynical. You know, they say, okay, nice words, we like it to happen, but maybe not in our generation, maybe somewhere else in the future. And I say always no. I know that there is also research about it, by doing our future imagery, to imagine the best future we can have on this planet Earth, in the cosmos, this itself creates reality. This
Yes.
itself creates. So I would love very much if you can comment on this, how you change your awareness, how you go to the other way, also from the neuropsychological point of view, how you can change the brain in thinking on this best future ever.
Yeah. Well, one of the most important things we have to understand is that the mind, we talk about the mind controlling the biology, the mind controlling life. I said, there are two minds, and we put them together like one mind. I go, no, it's two minds. You have what is called the conscious mind, which is connected to your source, your spirituality, your creative. I say subconscious mind program, just like in a computer. You push a button, the program plays. And I go, so why is it relevant? I said, when I first learned what the cells in the dish were teaching me, it was like my conscious creative mind was going, oh, new science, new understanding. And then I started to understand. I said, oh my goodness, we can create heaven on earth. We could have a great life with the science. So I remember saying, get some people into a room. I want to tell you how to create a great life. So because I have all the science, and they come into the room and I say, I'm going to teach you how to have a wonderful, great life. But the audience looks at me and goes, you know, Lipton, your life is not so great for a guy who says you know how to make a great life. And then I almost said, and I didn't say it, but I almost said, well, do as I say, not as I do. And all of a sudden I go, how can I teach people about a great life when it's just like academic? It's a fact that I learned in a book. And I say, why? Because until you take that fact and put it into the subconscious where the program is, the fact is useless. I could be the smartest one up here, but if I don't make the behavior, which comes from down here, as smart, then the two minds are separate. I got the smartest intelligent mind and the stupid body. I go, what do you mean? And so I say, we have to take the education and put it into practice. And that's where most people fail, because they think, well, if I just read the book, I should know. I'm going to be better. I got a self-help book. I'm going to be healthy. I say, so you read the book. Did your life change? No. I go, why? You put the education up here in the conscious mind, but you didn't use the education in the program. And so we have to change, not just putting the mind and putting information in. We have to say, you have to take this information and create from this information, not from the program you got, because that was the one that was disempowered. So I had to learn myself. I said, wait, I'm smart. I know how the cells do it. But my life was not smart. and that's what the audience was trying to tell me. It's like, you might be smart, but your life is not so good. And that's when I had to say, wait a minute, before I talk to people anymore, I'm going to have to put into practice what I have knowledge. And the first moment I started to put in that practice with knowledge, my life changed. Just like, oh my God, I have power. I can decide something different than what I'm supposed to decide. I could have a different belief than what they tell me I'm supposed to have. And now, how many years that has been? It's interesting because one of my bad programmings, because we get our programmings from our parents and our community, my father and mother did not have a loving relationship. My father came from Russia. And when I told him once I was going to get a divorce, he said, you can't get a divorce. Marriage is a business. I go, marriage is a business? Because in Russia, when he came, if you didn't have a marriage, you couldn't survive, because both people had to work to make a life. If you were alone, no. So even if you don't like your partner, you still got to work. That was his story. And I go, that was a belief system and a way of life. And the reality was, I had no social, personal life that was a good relationship for 40 years. But when I started to understand, oh my God, my behavior from the program is not matching the wishes from the mind. They're not together. I said, wait, I have to change the program. And I am so, you can't understand, Shlomo, how happy I am. I have been living with my partner, Margaret, now 22 years, honeymoon every day. Not the honeymoon here and then goes away. I say, why is it every day? Because I say, we changed the programming, and we've made programming of harmony and love. And if I had a bad thought, or I said something that wasn't good, we had a chance to discuss it, not get in a fight. And then I could change the program. And so I've changed it. And it's interesting because a guy, me, who couldn't get a relationship for 40 years, I write a book called The Honeymoon Effect. The honeymoon effect is what? When you fall in love and that beginning is like heaven on earth. I go, it does not have to end. You could have heaven on earth every day of your life. But I had to change the program. So a leader can have consciousness, but if a leader doesn't even live by the words, then they're not expressing leadership. So the first thing, in the old days, Shlomo, back when the hippies, they used to say, before you go and change the world, first take care of your own backyard. And that meant before you're going to go out and teach the world something, you better be able to take care of yourself first. So a leader to me is not one who passed the test because he memorized all the conscious, like read the book, got all the facts. I say a leader is only when he takes those facts and puts it into the program and lives the life that matches the facts. And that is the disconnect that most people have. Just like me, I read the book. I go, oh, I know all this, but my life didn't change. Why? You have to take knowledge from conscious and make it program in subconscious. That's when the leader that's when I became a different leader. Why? Before I behaved, I had the consciousness come in my lecture. I will tell you about it. And I go, but the people didn't pay any attention. Why? Because even though I was smart, my life was not smart. It was the same program. So I'm going to say, even in SGLA, you're going to learn a lot of most important teachings about how to be a leader. But I say, if you don't take those teachings and then make it a practice, then it's useless. They didn't want to hear me talk because they looked at me. But when I changed my life, and then they come in and I start talking about it, now they're like, oh, tell me more. Because now they were interested. Why? Because they saw, that he's having a good life. Yeah, I am having a good life.
Bruce,
It wasn't
this I want
always
to ask
that
you.
way. It was only when I downloaded what was the smart and made it the behavior.
If I may ask you, can you give us a tip? We learn how to really work with this 95% of the subconscious, but can you give us a tip or something that helped you to create a new program in yourself, to create this creation within yourself?
There are two different things. The first one was what I did alone. Okay. I said, what does that mean? So I'll make a quick story, I hope. Okay. We have a bank account. That's your energy. That's your money. You live on the bank account. I say, you have a checkbook. I say, do you go and write checks for anything? Oh, Shlomo, you look so handsome. Here's $10 for you because you're so handsome. And oh, Mary, you got a nice pair of shoes. Here's $10 for you. I say, no, you don't give away your money because that's your life. And I go, energy is life. You got energy, you got life. I say, if I gave you a checkbook where you had to write how I'm spending my energy, you would stop and look and say, wait, why do I want to do this? But it doesn't give me anything back. I'm putting the money out, I get nothing back. I say, why would I invest in something I get nothing back? And all of a sudden I started to look at my life and say, don't get involved with your energy to give energy unless something's coming back from your investment. And most of the people, like, we could, let's say, go down and have a political argument in the bar. Oh, the conservatives and the liberals, and I'm arguing with one of them, and we argue, and he's and I are different, and we argue in the bar, and then at the end we go home, and I say, you spent a lot of energy in that bar. Did you change anything? Did you change? Did that other person change? Did the world change? No. I said, then why did I spend the energy? I could have been at home being in love with my partner instead of fighting in this argument. And that was step one. Disconnect from where you put your energy if it doesn't return anything. It's an investment. You're investing your energy, which is your life. And if you invested in something that just sucks the money out and doesn't come back, then that's like writing a stupid check and giving away your money. You're giving away your life. So number one, I had to learn, I want to get involved with things that bring something back to me. If I'm going to invest my energy, I want a return from my investment. Okay. So that meant everything that was not giving me return, cut it off, because it's draining life. It drains energy. Okay. That was phase one. But then when I met Margaret, and here, let me give a story. Then I think I gave it in a lecture before, but very quickly. You have a friend, you know your friend's behavior very well. You know your friend's parent. And one day you see your friend has the same behavior as the parent. So you say, hey, Bill, you're just like your father. And I say, the first thing Bill is going to say is, how can you compare me to my father? I'm nothing like my father. And everyone laughs because they know that. And I go, the most profound story, Shlomo. Why? Everyone else can see that Bill behaves like his father. The only one who can't see it is Bill. I said, how come? Because he learned the program in the first 7 years by watching his father and learned the behavior. And then 95% of the day, he's automatically playing the behavior because he's not paying attention. That's why we play the program. And I say, when you're not paying attention, you don't even see your own behavior. And that's why Bill's like, well, I'm not like my father, and everybody else knows he is. And I go, why is it relevant? Because you cannot see your own behavior coming out. So I go, oh, but when I got in a relationship, this is where relationships fail. Because when you first get together with somebody, you don't play any of the bad behavior. That's why it's heaven on earth. Your life is beautiful and love and all that. But when we start thinking, that's when we start playing the program. So I say, you start out in a honeymoon, two people wishing and desiring to create heaven. But when thinking comes back in, all of a sudden the programs from the bottom come up. And these programs mostly are negative. And like Bill, I can't see the program, but Margaret, she's my partner, she sees the program and goes, what kind of behavior is that? And I go, what are you talking about? Why? I'm Bill, I didn't even see what I just did. So I say, so why is it relevant? Because when two people know that there's a spiritual part, which is the good and loving part, that's what brought the people together. But they're the program part. And if the programs aren't good, they cause the people to separate. But if you can't see the program, then it goes into what? Argument. My wife says, what kind of behavior is that? And I'm going, I don't know what you're talking about because of invisible behavior. And I say, this is when the honeymoon is going away. But if both people, like Margaret and I, know some of the behavior that's coming out is not coming out from me, my spiritual self, my true self. Some of that behavior is just from the program. And then instead of an argument, I have an opportunity to listen to her. And she'll say, do you want that behavior? And I go, what behavior? Because I didn't even see it. No. So I can change the behavior. And by living in relationship with someone I could trust, who is not just criticizing me, but who is helping me by telling me. Because when somebody else tells you, oh, that was a stupid thing you said, then you get mad and then there's an argument. And I go, no. In this relationship, if she said, well, that wasn't really a good thing to say, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I could change that. So living in a community gives the freedom of the other people to offer to you a criticism that you didn't see about yourself, that you can then change.
Hello, everybody. I hope you are still here. And if there are some questions or concerns, I will be very happy to see it on the chat. And I want to create kind of completion. So let's take one moment. I will be very happy to hear Arlene and Arzu and Anat Granot and Mr. Wu. If you want to say something, it's the time that you can really share here. And Julie Tasker. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Anna. Great. If anybody wants to have an interview with me, you can just write your name and say yes. Or you can push the button, the link that you see here. Thank you, Arzu. And if you want to say something about your feelings now, it's also possible. We'll give it 3 minutes now, and then I'll do this meditation together. Thank you, Julie. Thank you very much. Yes, I saw what you wrote before. Fam, I saw that you wrote to Dorit. It's really amazing. Free. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Annette, if you want, you can just talk to me personally in the chat, and then we can talk also about this recording. Thank you, Tina Towen. I'm very happy that you are with us now. Thank you, Daniel. So, Daniel, you can push the link and create an interview via Calendly. If you go up in the chat, you can see it. Yes, very good. Toda rabba, Chaya. Thank you very much, Chaya. I will be very happy if you push the button and we create an interview with me. I will be very happy. And Carlos, I missed you, Carlos. How are you? Thank you, Carlos. סיגל. יופי סיגל, את כבר בפנים אבל. You are already there. Yes. I hope we will be able to satisfy your expectations. Kamal Giz, sorry, but I cannot read what you wrote. Can you write it in English? Storm GeForce, yes. Yes, yes, yes. You're very welcome. Jacqueline also. Yes, Chen Peretz, she's asking what is the interview? So the interview has two sides. One of them is something that I share with the world, with all of you. It is a kind of a way to look at your high purpose and to go into some really deep conversation about your daily life and how to make the right decision in life. And this is also an interview for the program. If you want to come to the program, you don't have to, but if you want to come, then I interview you, and then we decide if you fit to the program or not, and then we decide on this. Great. Julie, we need to join together. Yes, thank you, Julie. Adriel. Thank you so much, Adriel. I love you. Thank you for coming. חן פרץ פלד. את באה לרעיון? Thank you, עדה. תודה רבה, עדה. שלומית, אני לא אוכל לספר על התוכנית עכשיו, הסברתי קודם. אם תרצי, תקבעי איתי רעיון, אני אסביר לך. Okay. Now let's imagine that we are all together, standing in a circle, like we did before, and we take this energy and we share it with the whole world. And we share the energy and we bring healing and peace. Now in Israel we need it because there is a lot of fear because of the bombs and also COVID and everything. And the whole world is now has a lot of fear because of the COVID. So it's all about fear. It's all about understanding that the stress and the fear are much more dangerous than everything else. And when we can really go inside us and let go of the stress, the whole world will look totally different. So let's take a deep breath and say hello to everybody here on this chat and hello to everybody who's going to see this chat again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night.